Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. If this video has found you, there's a message here for you, but please take what resonates and leave the rest. So this is Tuesday Truths. I'm almost tempted to call this Trigger Warning Tuesdays because I believe the videos on Tuesdays are going to be probably intense. But today's video is titled, "There Are No Victims, Only Volunteers." Now, this is a quote from Diem Anacino from Resuscitation. So before I begin, I want you to consider three things, okay, to keep into context as I'm going through this video. The first thing is to remember that no karmic debt in the universe ever goes unpaid. There's a perfect accounting system in the cosmos, okay? The second thing to consider is that we have lifetimes to work out our karma until we come into balance, and then we don't have to reincarnate into this life anymore, at least not into physical form. The third thing to keep into consideration, or to keep in consideration, is that energies have to match in order for certain things to happen. In order for manifestations to happen, energies have to match, or seeds have to be planted in order for something to happen, in order for something to take place, okay? Things don't just happen out of the blue, cause and effect. So when it comes to me saying that there are no victims, only volunteers, that basically means that we are responsible for everything that we have going on in our life, good or bad. One thing that I'm hearing Spirit tell me to tell you is that we should stop using the word victim, especially those of us that have been through traumatic experiences, physical, emotional, sexual abuse, whatever. We need to call ourselves survivors, okay? Because we survived it. We're not victims. There are no victims. So be careful with your words. Be careful with what you allow to define you, okay? Use survivor. Now, when I talked about a second ago, when I talked about the universe has a perfect accounting system, and that just basically means that in order for our soul to come into its full evolutionary glory, we have to experience a lot of different forms on this planet. So the abuser was once abused. The poor person was once a rich person. The man was once a woman, and so on and so forth. It's all a part of our soul's evolution. And before we incarnate into this life, we choose the experiences that will match the lessons that we have to learn in this life. Unfortunately, we forget that we made this agreement as soon as we're born into this body. And our main job in this body is to remember why we're here in the first place. And that's to learn lessons. So that's the reason why we have these experiences. Whatever experience it is, positive or negative, I don't care how bad it is. And I know this might be triggering for some of you to hear, especially if you're somebody that has been abused or raped or beaten or whatever. You know, the fact that you chose this experience before you incarnated, to our humanness, our human minds, our human emotions, it doesn't make sense, right? And I'm not saying that these things are not terrible, horrible things. As I'm making this video, we have a lot of things going on in the media right now with a certain disgraced ex-hip-hop mogul, right? So I feel like that's part of the reason why Spirit wants me to make this video. Okay, we have to remember that these are lessons that we chose. Our emotions and our conditioning will tell us that these actions, these behaviors, these experiences are, bad, they're horrible, they should never happen. And I don't disagree as a human being myself. But no matter what we believe or no matter how we feel, we attract what we are. Okay, we attract energies, experiences, and things to us based on our vibration and based on the lessons that we need to have in this life. Now, some people get it, others don't. Some people get the assignment, some people don't. And all we can do is control what we have going on in our lives. Okay? We cannot prevent ourselves from experiencing trauma on this earth plane, but it's our responsibility to heal the trauma. I don't make the rules. I just work here as a teacher on this earth school. Okay? And understand that there are people who will never heal. They'll never get the lesson because they get so much attention being a victim. But really, it actually keeps them stuck and they end up attracting more horrible experiences to them, right? So that's, and again, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's the person that's been, raped multiple times by different people, or the person that's been robbed multiple times, or the person that keeps losing their job, or the person that can't stay off of drugs. Looking at it from a higher perspective, okay? From a higher perspective. For whatever reason, you're not getting the lesson that you came here to learn, okay? So here are tips that I can offer you to overcome victim mentality. The first one, spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, going to church, whatever it is that you connect to, whatever it is that you vibe with. You need to have a strong spiritual practice to know that you're not alone in this world and to know that you can overcome whatever it is that you went through. In my opinion, you cannot do it by yourself. You have to have spiritual support for that. Okay? The second tip is to be accountable for your life and everything in it. This is about calling your power back. It's not about you taking the blame for somebody hurting you. That's not it at all, okay? Nobody should hurt anybody, but you are responsible to heal that pain. Nobody else can do it for you. The third tip is forgiveness. Now, I did a video on forgiveness, I think maybe 2 or 3 months ago. You can find that on my page. But forgiveness starts with you. And when you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It is about you releasing that energy, okay? And perhaps even releasing that person. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. In my opinion, it usually doesn't, okay? So I hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope you were able to keep it in context. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.